Welcome to the next Impreza episode. Previously, as you saw, I've done the engine bay, front end, and the last time the rear end. Now it's time to get the car out of here and up on the lift so that I can sort out the middle section. Now that I've removed all the parts that were blocking the floor, I can move on to the cleaning stage. And this is where this dust sheet surrounding the ramp comes into play. There's obviously going to be a lot of dirty water and Raptor liner flying around the place. And as this is a washing workshop with customers' cars all around the lift, in order to protect the cars, the dust sheet is necessary. So with the middle section all pressure washed clean now, I'm going to leave it up on the ramp to dry overnight. And while it's drying, we'll take a trip back to my own workshop. What I'm going to do now is blast these parts clean, prime and paint them gloss black. If you want to see this process, check out this video here. But for those that have seen me do this process more than a few times now, I'm going to skip straight to the next stage. With all the parts now looking as good as new and all the nuts and bolts re-zinc plated, it's time to get back to the car. So here we are back at the workshop, and as you can see off camera I have done all the rust repairs and primed it in preparation for the Raptor liner. I would have shown you this process, but as my time on this ramp is extremely limited, I just didn't have the time to film this process. If you want to see this process, check out the previous Subaru video where I sort out the rear end and you will see the process in full there. So, let's get on with the Raptor lining. With the new stainless steel exhaust fitted, that is the underside of the car fully restored from one end all the way to the other. All that's left to do now is inject the cavities with a cavity wax to protect them for years to come, and then we can get off the ramp and get back to my own workshop. Now that the car is back in my workshop, it's time to do the job that a lot of you have been waiting for since episode 1. And that is to finally give the car a wash and get the top side looking as good as the underside. Now with the paintwork washed and decontaminated, I can mask up the panels and polish the paintwork to its final gloss. The reason for masking the panels is to prevent the polishing compound getting onto areas that I don't want it, and to protect the panel edges from burn through, as the paint is always thinner on a panel edge. For the polishing itself, I'm using Meguiar's 205 and a green hex logic foam, as I find on this paint it yields fantastic results. Once I've finished polishing the paint, it will be given a wipe down to remove all residue and protected with a wax. My choice of wax is Fuso wax, as it lasts a really long time and holds its gloss levels really well. With that last layer of wax, that brings the Subaru's transformation to a close. Now, what do you say? Shall we get it outside and see it in all its glory? And there it is in all its glory. Now, I think it's about time we went for a little drive. I'm very pleased to say that the first drive out was a total success. Now all that remains is to continue racking up a few miles to bed the engine in before it's remapped. But before that, I think it's about time I finished off the ATC project. So I really hope that you've enjoyed this series, and I would just like to take a small moment to say that if you do enjoy these restorations and would like to help out, I do have a Patreon page. As you've no doubt noticed, my channel isn't sponsored by any big companies and I don't do product placements. I do this purely for the love of it and because it brings you guys a lot of joy too, not for the money. But with that being said, with your support, it would be possible for me to get my own car lift and fund more car and bike projects in the future. So please consider joining me over on Patreon, and I will see you all again very soon.